I've made everything from art film, documentary, where I am the entire crew, true crime docudramas, to a dramatic feature film, you know, everything.
You forgot things like the 2 books you've written?
Well, I was telling you what kind of films I did.
Yeah, but I asked,
yes.
like, what do you make?
Oh, I've made movies. I've also written movies. So one of the movies that I wrote, we made into a film last fall. And then another
What's it called?
one. It's. Do you want the overview or do you want the...
I'm just a conversation.
The movie I made in the fall is called Orphanhood. For a long time, it used to be called Just Off Main Street. But we decided that wasn't a very good name, so...
I much prefer...
Right? It's so much better.
It's way better. What have we made together? And then we'll get into the
God. I was kind of thinking about that. Well, we met in film school. So it's first day. We're in this like big lecture hall. And yeah, we started talking. And we didn't like become friends. I feel like it was like second semester.
Oh, no, I know what it was. You edited the little mini doc I had to make. That was our first bonding. The EPK. What? You don't remember this?
What are you talking about?
Behind the scenes of Vanessa, the short Vanessa had to direct about that sci-fi thing.
Oh no, that was like second year. We were like tight by then.
We weren't. I would say that was like the like now we're like, you might probably could start a business together.
Sure. And so I feel like that time is like a bit of a blur, but was also really, like, to be honest, very formative for me. I just remember, and I've never told you this, and I don't think it's in the final book.
Sure, the framing's good for whatever you want to say.
But I remember the day that you left, like literally you were like packing up, going to your car and leaving. And we like had a big hug because you were like so excited to go because you were gonna go and like be with Amber and like all this stuff. But I was like so sad that I remember going back into the house and just feeling, I was like, I hope this isn't it. Like I hope that's not
really?
Like, oh yeah.
Oh, man.
And I like wrote a little thing about it, and I don't think it ended up in the book, but yeah, it was like because I feel like my life has been pockmarked with loss, but never like that. It was like a different kind of loss, and it did, like, I feel like we have a very like brother sister like dynamic, and so I was like, oh man, like, and you and I like were like, even though we weren't doing projects actively, we were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, what if this momentum, like, I was just really sad. So I'm glad you came back. Yeah, I think you and I had that same like hunger for it, or like, I don't know, we're okay with being told no a whole bunch, or I don't know.
Yeah, we wanted to be famous filmmaker. Just say it like it is.
We're like, yeah, we knew it wasn't gonna happen in the first, 6 months.
I don't know. When you went to film school, did you have any other aspirations than you want to make you want to make movies?
No.
You want to be a director or a writer and make movies?
No.
Wait, that was what you had.
Yeah. I didn't have any other aspirations. I definitely was like, if this doesn't work out, it has to. So, and maybe that's why you just keep going, because you're like, I don't think I could do anything else. Yeah. So
film school ends, we start a company.
Did we do that right before you left?
No.
When you came back?
I worked in news for a little bit, and
yeah. I was editing, because I had majored as an editor first. The reason that I did that is because I was like, oh well, you'll never get a job as a director. That's not a real thing. And I knew that I had some of those raw skills from my days in theater, so I was like, okay, well, I should learn something that I can actually like make a living at. And it turns out that you can't make a living as a director. Surprise!
But do you not think editing is like a great place to learn filmmaking?
I am like so grateful, because post-production is pre-production, whatever. But like I'm a better director. I'm a better producer because I know what I'm talking about. The first few years of my career were like having these really great opportunities as an editor. I was like, oh my God, I'm editing a TV show. This is like the end goal. So how can I be doing it right now? Then it happens for 2 months, and then you're like unemployed for 6 months. And then you like get a job for something else, and then you get laid off again. And I was like, how is this sustainable? while you were in Edmonton. That was like kind of the ebbs and flows that I was going through. Like I got laid off like 3 times in 2 years or something like that, you know? Yeah. And then how did things go that we ended up making that decision to go in together? Like, I don't even know how 100 Million Pictures, like, that first conversation.
Well, I had this sweet job out of film school that turned out to be a job I hated. And I quit and I started being a waiter.
Oh, that's right.
And then you guys came and visited us. And then you're like, well, if you should come back to Calgary and we'll just start a company. It was great. You just said it.
Well, you should.
And I was like, oh,
did.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Starting your own company with like, what would that have been? 2 years post-film school experience and no business experience.
We had no idea what we were doing.
It was a good learning, but like, that was a silly idea probably to a degree.
I don't regret doing it.
No.
But I think that if our measure of success was, did we achieve what we like, our goals on paper were, like, oh, epic fail. Well, maybe not epic fail, but like, we just didn't know what we were doing. We're like, we're just gonna like make some wedding videos, make bank, and then make our films, and then step 3 is just be famous. But it gave us something to feel, at least for me, to feel like I'm like doing something, you know? Like, yeah, we made some nominal money.
Yeah.
But more than that, it was us making a promise to each other that it's like, hey, I promise to you that I do want to do this, and I'm going to help you do this, and vice versa.
In the last year, you've tackled your new project. What was the experience like?
What did you do last year?
What is the main thing you did? I know you did lots.
So, my dad... No, let me start again. Okay. So, my dad passed away, and I lost my mom when I was 6 years old, so I became an adult orphan before I turned 30. And loss has kind of been a theme throughout my work, because it's been a theme in my life. And after he passed away, I started writing a script. The first draft was very autobiographical, and I think there were like 2 lines of dialogue in the whole thing. And I was like, this is brilliant! And I think I shared it with you, and you were like, this is so good! Right now, maybe just like, I don't remember exactly what you said, but you were very gentle about it in that, you know, this I'm glad this is cathartic and makes sense to you, but I don't think it's gonna make sense to the audience.
That might be generous. I might have been meaner than that.
You were like, this is bad. And so I spent the next like however many years, 7-8 years, rewriting it. And then I had applied for grants, shortlisted for a bunch, but never got funding. Meanwhile, I produced your feature, To the Mountain. We learned how to do stuff, not on the cheap, but more like how to, well, I was trying to think of the exact word, but you know, we bootstrapped it. We learned a ton. And even though we were all like, we'll never do this again, I was like, I kind of want to do it again. Yeah. It was mine. And the script is very small. And so chatting with a friend of mine, Sean Crawford, who had also done like a micro budget feature. And he's a dreamer. And he was like, you should do it. Just do it. And so I started putting feelers out, and you know, we were all in a different point in our lives, because with To the Mountain, you know, some of us weren't married, some of us didn't have kids. It was a lot easier to just give up every single weekend for a summer. But we're in a different position now. So I started asking people, and I'd been doing a lot of talk about, oh yeah, I got this feature, I'm gonna do this feature. And so then when I started to reach out to people, especially saying, hey, I don't have any, you know, I didn't get a grant, so this is all self-funded, I was blown away, like talking earlier about people who have supported my filmmaking. Every single person who said yes on that project, I am eternally in their debt, because it's one thing for them to say yes to me when I'm paying them, but a whole nother thing to just come and work for free for me for a 7-day shoot plus prep plus wrap. But they did. And it was so magical to have people put their trust in me for a project, not only just a passion project or something that was so personal and important to me, And as I've said, you know, sometimes I can be a little secretive, a little private. Even having people come up to me and say, hey, I looked at your reference photos of, you know, part of it takes place in what is meant to be my grandmother's house. They're like, we looked at some photos of your grandma's house and I found this and that and all these little details of people just caring about you. It was just a really beautiful exercise in like allowing people to love me, which is terrifying. It was just awesome. And just to be able to feel now like I've done it, because I feel like even when we first graduated from film school, like feature film was always like,
that was the goal.
Oh, that's the goal. Now I've made it. Now I'm legit or whatever. And now I have many more goals. But I think for me, I'm glad that now was the right time. I'm glad that I didn't do it beforehand, but I was thinking about how, and I'm sure you remember this, but a short film that I did called Skyline, I wanted to film it.
Oh, of course I remember.
I wanted to film it in my grandmother's hometown because it was meant to be there. And I think telling this story in some way or some backdrop, I needed it to be personal, but you and I had a big blowout about it. Because you were like, it's insane. We don't need to go to Saskatchewan to do this. And I thought that we did. So we had a big yelling match. And we didn't. You were right, of course. Because it was never about, oh, we have to shoot it for the film. It was like, I have some, you know, repressed trauma that I need to work through. And you're like, not on the company dime. But it was nice to be able to feel like I could tell this story now or through this lens now and wasn't precious about it in the same way that I was then. You know, it didn't have to be in the town for it to have that nuance or whatever I was trying to tell. So, it was really an incredible professional and like creative step, but also like a personal cathartic like experience.